The first step of learning your human design is finding out your energy type, your strategy, and your authority. After that, it's about learning how to integrate these aspects with how you interact with the world around you. As a really brief overview, your energy type highlights how your energetic field interacts with others and the environment around you. Your energy type also gives you great signals that tell you whether you are on the right path or whether you have taken a wrong turn or diverged off your path at some point in time. These are your signature as well as your not self theme. Then your strategy is the way that your energy best engages with the energy of those around you. And rounding out this initial triad, your authority is your guide for how you best make decisions that are in alignment with your energy and on your unique path. Now, some people have one authority, and a lot of people have multiple authorities that are defined. I do have some additional other authority videos that will be linked down in the description box. But specifically for today, we are going to be talking about how to work with having multiple authorities and when and how to use them to make the best decisions that are most in alignment for you. Hello and welcome to, or welcome back to the Simply CA. My name is Alana, and on this channel you are going to find human design, lifestyle coaching, as well as yoga and fitness videos and whole food plant-based nutrition videos, especially during the month of January. All of this is here to help you live your most authentic, truest to who you are life. If you are enjoying this content, please remember to click on that thumbs up button as well as the subscribe and notification bell so that you know every time I post a new video. Some authorities are more pronounced than others. So in order of intensity, a quick reminder, the authorities are as follows. For the emotional authority, there is no truth in the now. For the sacral authority, there is an an or a meh gut response. The splenic authority is a quiet, subtle inner knowing, and it is in the moment, and it doesn't repeat. The ego or will center actually has two authorities depending on how it is connected. There needs to be a strong what's in it for me, a strong pull and a strong desire towards something in order for that willpower to kick in and really help to create what it is that you're looking to build. The G center creates the self-projected authority, and it pulls out your decision and your path and your way forward. When you talk out the swirling thoughts, they'll create a clear and cohesive line of thought. The environment or the mental projector, which only has things lit up from the throat or above, or defined from the throat or above, it's important to keep in mind that it is actually not your mind that's making the decision. So for you also need to verbally express your thought process in order to create and hear how your decision impacts and reflects back to you in the environment that you're in. It's especially important to be in an environment that it feels good for you in order to make those clear decisions. And then for the reflectors, your decisions rely on the cycles and phases of the moon. So it's important for you to know how you feel around the lunar cycle, knowing that the transits and the planets really interact with your chart in a way that creates a difference of who you are every single phase that you go through. So for that reflector, being in tune with the lunar cycle and how you and your chart interacts with it will help you to understand when you're making decisions and how you might feel about those decisions in the next couple of weeks. So now that we have that quick little highlight of the different authorities in order of pronouncement or intensity, what happens when you actually have multiple authorities. We are not going to focus on the environment or mental projector, and we are not going to focus on the lunar authority because they don't interact with other authority centers. So they exist on their own, and we're going to spend this next chunk of time looking at there are lots of combinations, but we're going to look at some of the other combinations of authorities. You can use this information to tune into your knowing and your understanding of yourself and your authorities to piece together how your authorities work. Let me know in the comment section below how this interacts for you. And especially if you have an authority combination that I don't touch on, I'm really curious. Let me know in the comment section how you work with your unique multiple authorities. And the other way to know even more about your specific authorities and how they work together is by booking a one-on-one with me. And you can find the link to that in the description box below. Okay. Let's get into the combinations. Because approximately 50% of the population is emotional, and because about 70% of the population is a generator or a manifesting generator, the most common multiple authority that you will likely come across is going to be that emotional sacral combination. So these are your emotional generators and your emotional manifesting generators. It's important for you to remember that your primary authority is that emotional wave. So before you commit to a decision, ensure that that emotional wave has landed on neutral. Now, because the emotional wave has no truth in the now and the sacral responds to an in-the-moment exchange of energy, you can notice your sacral response and then check in with your emotional wave. If your emotional wave is neutral, that sacral response is your decision. If your emotional wave is on a high or a low, you'll want to circle back to committing to that decision or that question after your emotional wave has reached that neutral place. So you'll circle back and then touch base with the sacral. Sticking with the emotional as the primary, let's move on to another example of the emotional and the ego. So in this one, again, that emotional wave needs to be at the neutral place before you are taking action and saying yes to whatever that decision is. And your ego center being on board can help to boost your commitment to that decision or your energy behind whatever action. So if your emotional wave is neutral, it feels like something you want to do, but you don't desire the outcome or the result. Ask yourself, what do I need out of this? What's in it for me? What's my desire for the result of this? Shift how you are getting that result, or maybe how you're going about doing this commitment, and then you will have the strength of your emotional decision combined with the strength of your willpower, your egoic decision, and you will be off to the races. Moving over to the sacral as the primary authority, let's take a look at how the sacral and spleen interact. Your sacral needs to have that before you commit to that decision. Now, both of these authorities are present in the moment. However, that splenic knowing will sometimes hit just before, or it might even tune in when the sacral is a meh. And so acknowledge, make note of the splenic intuitive knowing, whether it's a yes or a no, and then wait for your sacral to land. And it's important to wait for your sacral to land, even though you've already had that splenic hit, because the sacral landing is what's going to create and generate the energy for you to move forward. You might have the sacral and the ego defined. Again, your primary response is that sacral, or Then when you layer in the ego, knowing and desiring the what's in it for me will kick your willpower in and help to boost your sacral energy. Especially if you're a manifesting generator, Having a secondary authority that kicks in to help you boost that sacral authority will really help to maintain the generation so that you can get through quickly and move on to the next. So you have more commitment when more of your authorities are on board. We'll do one more sacral because, again, you can kind of layer these together for yourself. So you might be ego, sacral, and self-projected. You might be, I'll get into others, but you can layer these up as you need to for you, or you can book a one-on-one reading. Link is in the description box. But for now, let's take a look at sacral and self-projected. As before, the sacral, still the primary authority. It still needs to give you the or the pull towards or the pull back from. Now, if you have a defined G center, you may be clear on your direction, or you may be searching for your direction and the clarity of your direction. If you have an awareness of your clear direction and this decision lights up your sacral response and is in line with that clear direction, that's your decision. Go for it, do it, get on board, and head in that direction. Now, if you feel unclear on your direction, but you do have that defined G center, listen to your sacral response and piece together your direction as your sacral response initiates that forward momentum. So really play into and express your sacral response, and that direction will become clearer, and then you can tap into that G center and it'll really pull up and pull forward more for you. Okay, you are not a generator or a manifesting generator, but you have multiple authorities. Let's take a look at if you have a splenic and a self-projected authority. Your splenic authority is your primary authority. What is true in the moment? What is true in the now? What is that inner knowing that you have? And to help you to learn and to trust and to connect with that splenic authority, utilize the G center by talking through your decision making with somebody who is neutral. And then you will notice that coherent line of thinking will come and piece together. You can also utilize the question, is this me? Am I the type of person who blank? Is this how I see myself? Is this a decision that is going to intensify who I am? Does this give me recognition of myself? Again, these are just a few of the combinations, and I'm only putting 2 of them together at a time. However, I happen to have a defined sacral, a defined spleen, a defined ego, and a defined G center. I have 4 authorities defined. So how do I work with that? Well, my sacral is priority number 1. When it's lit up, when it's turned on, we're good. However, sometimes my sacral doesn't always have the answer. It's not always quite queued up yet. So I listen in to that splenic response, the knowing in the now. Sometimes I'll get an intuitive hit, I'll know something in the now, and then I'll go into a pro-con list and allow myself to get my sacral on board with that decision. If I layer in that willpower, if my ego center is turned on, if I have a what's in it for me that is clear and that I have a desire behind, then I give my sacral and my spleen that extra boost, that extra hit of intensity, that extra drive. And if that G center is engaged, if it is also with me on this journey and it has a knowing of where this is going, that this is the type of person that I am, that this is who I am stepping into being, then stand back. Because I have the energy, I have the knowing, I have the willpower and the determination, and it is on my path, and I will move quickly. all these authorities don't necessarily have to be on board. But when they are, the commitment layers upon each other. The energy builds and intensifies. And what we are here to do becomes clearer and clearer. And when we're flowing with that energy, we have the power to move forward and to truly create the life that we are here to live. I want you to feel empowered to identify your authorities and to see how they interact, to notice which ones you have strongest, that you pay attention to the most, and which ones you could lean into a little bit more. Let me know in the comment section down below how this is integrating with your awareness of your human design and your unique energy. And if you want more personalized information, there is a link in the description to book a one-on-one reading with me. As always, if you enjoyed this content, please give it a little thumbs up. Click on the subscribe button and the notification bell. As well as if you want more information, check out my human design playlist. And I will see you in the next video.